Each year, millions of people get sick from unsafe food. Because of this, it is very important to know how to handle food and how to treat food in order to stay healthy. There are many steps that we can take in order to prevent foodborne illnesses. You need to avoid potential hazards to food, know what pathogens need in order to grow, and know how food becomes unsafe and the prevention methods. I'm going to tell you how you can prevent foodborne illnesses and explain to you how it occurs and why. By the end of this, I hope that you're able to recognize the potential hazards and are able to prevent yourself and family from getting sick. A foodborne illness is a disease that is transmitted to people by food. To prevent a foodborne illness, you must recognize the hazards that can make food unsafe. These hazards come from pathogens, chemicals, or objects. Most of the hazards can be controlled with good personal hygiene, time and temperature control, and cross-contamination control. Unsafe food is usually the result of cross-contamination, which is the presence of harmful substances in food. Some are caused by humans, but others can occur naturally. Potential hazards are divided into 3 categories. The first is biological. These are pathogens that can grow in the food source. There are 4 different types of pathogens. There's parasites, fungi, viruses, and bacteria. Chemical hazards can occur when used improperly. This group includes cleansers, sanitizers, polishes, cleaners, and metals that can leach from cookware into food. The third is physical contaminants. These are foreign objects like hair, dirt, metal, staples, or broken glass that can end up in your food. Understanding how pathogens can grow can help you prevent foodborne illness. Pathogens need 4 conditions in order to grow. Pathogens need 6 conditions in order to grow. They can be remembered by the acronym FATCOM. F is for food. To grow, pathogens need an energy source like carbohydrates or proteins. A is for acidity. They grow best in food that contains little or no acid. T is for temperature. They grow the best between 41 degrees Fahrenheit and 135 degrees Fahrenheit. This is actually known as the danger zone. T is for time. O is for oxygen. Some need it, some actually don't. And then M is for moisture. They grow best in moist foods. Being aware of these conditions will help you to prevent any illnesses from occurring in the future. The Center for Disease Control and Prevention has identified the 5 most common risk factors that cause foodborne illness. The first is purchasing food from an unsafe source. You have to be sure that the food is coming from someplace that is reputable. The second and third go together. The first is cooking food to adequate temperatures and holding food at incorrect temperatures. These are both forms of time temperature abuse, which are good for the growth of pathogens. This can occur in many ways, like food not being stored at the right temperature, food not having been cooked or reheated enough to kill pathogens, and food that is not cooked all the way. The fourth factor is using contaminated equipment. Cross-contamination is when pathogens are transferred from one surface to food or from one food to another food. This can cause illness in many ways, like when contaminated ingredients are added to a food and there's no further cooking. Like if you toss a salad and throw some chicken in and the chicken's not cooked all the way, then that can cause illness. The next is one food contaminating another that doesn't need to be cooked. Like if you chop chicken on a chopping board and then you chop lettuce on it, you're having cross-contamination. The final factor that causes foodborne illness is practicing poor personal hygiene. This includes failing to wash your hands after going to the restroom or after they get dirty, like if you touch your hair or scratch your arm or something like that. The next is coughing or sneezing on the food, and then the last is touching like an open wound or something like that and then touching food. So now that you know how food can become unsafe, you can use this knowledge to keep your food safe. You need to focus on controlling time and temperature, preventing cross-contamination, and practicing good personal hygiene, and then purchase your food from reputable sources. By practicing proper food safety, you should be able to prevent a foodborne illness from occurring in your home. Now that you know and are aware of the potential hazards and how pathogens grow, and how food becomes unsafe, you can work to prevent a foodborne illness from occurring. Your number one goal is to keep yourself and your family happy and healthy.